Hi, my name is Justin DeRoy. You tuned in for a brand new episode of High Five's Cancelled Misfit. So for today, we have the show V. Of course, this is a reboot version because there's been actually more than one reincarnation of the show. Basically, what this show was about, of course, like I said, it's a reboot of a classic sci-fi show, which is about invading aliens that appear to be friendly, but mask their true malevolent purpose is for Earth and its people. This had a huge cast, just like tons and tons of people. But I'm not going to go over all of them because that is an enormous list. But I'm just going to highlight some of the bigger talent they had in there. Marina Baccarin was one of the leading stars. She played one of the leaders of the alien group. And then Scott Wolf was one of the key human characters on the show. Like I said, there's tons of others that I can go on and on because there's lots of people that they kind of highlight their different stories going through this whole alien invasion. But enough about that. I don't want to go on about the cast. So highlights for the show, I would say mostly it was just the fact that it was based off of an acclaimed, sci-fi series, from years ago before I was even born. They had a V going on. And that was kind of drew me to it. I just wanted to see what this new reincarnation looked like. It honestly never really ever, held my attention for very long, though. I know I watched for most of the first season, and about somewhere mid-second season, they kind of dropped off for me, and I just stopped caring to see where it was going anymore. So for ratings, in the 2010 to 2011 TV season, the show ranked at 57 out of 141 shows that premiered that year and scored a 2.4 rating, allowing it to, of course, be picked up for that second season. So ratings weren't too bad for the show. So the consensus from the critics wasn't all that great. Critics kind of felt that the show was seemed like a boring rehash of old ideas. And I kind of feel like I agreed there. They just decided to, take a show that was popular from years ago, and this was something I felt like was very popular, them just trying to rehash all these old ideas. And that's where I'm actually going to go ahead and segue into my final thoughts in the show. And if you kind of look up information on what at least the producers say, they really don't really give any good reasoning for why the show got canceled. And that mostly just led me to believe that it had a lot to do probably with a major drop in ratings, because it was kind of only at that range where you're only barely hanging on with your ratings. And then going back to what I was saying earlier, I kind of feel like it had also a lot to do with the fact that they just weren't getting a lot of people interested into coming back to this show, because the same thing the critics said, and what I also kind of agree with, it's just a rehash of old ideas, and they're trying to just bank on people's nostalgia of the original series, but it wasn't drawing in a new audience, which is what they really need. They can't just bank on all the nostalgia factor of people have watched some of the older versions of this show, just oh yeah, I want to check out what the new version looks like. They just weren't getting enough people to come in to see this show. It happens. Shows just can't live up to some of their predecessors. That's going to wrap it for this episode. I'd like to, of course, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Check out some of the other content on this channel, such as on, of course, Tuesday we have High Five Pop. Friday, I do my High Fives news dump. Also, please be sure to check out the Patreon link I have in the description below. Maybe help support this channel a bit. But, yep, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks again for tuning in. Goodbye.